Welcome to Hi-Fi. I'm Marcos, this is Kurt, and today we're going to be talking about the JL D110 Subwoofer. JL Audio was founded in 1975 by James Birch and Lucio Proni. They used the first letter of each of their names to form a company name, JL. Their first products were home speaker systems, as well as home speaker kits. JL was a pioneering automotive audio company in the late 70s and 80s all the way up into the 2000s. When the 90s came around, JL was the benchmark in performance when it came to subwoofers. Let's see if this JL D110 brings the impact from the automotive world into your home. So overall looks and feel of the JL Sub, you can tell it's a really nicely finished product. They did do a really good job with a MDF box with a nice black ash finish. Has a removable grill as well. And then you can see here, this is a big, huge cast aluminum piece here with the driver built directly into the cast aluminum.
Yeah, one of the main things is, instead of like usually what they would do is you'd have the little basket of the woofer and they would just bolt that onto, of course, like a piece of wood or fasten that on somewhere. So it's actually quite smart. So why not just build it straight into the actual baffle itself? That way it's one piece. There's less chance of any kind of ringing or any kind of mechanical distortion that can happen on there too as well. And by using aluminum cast as well, it resonates a lot less than other metals. Really nice. I do prefer the gloss, but just keep in mind, if you are using it for a home theater application, sometimes, especially if your subwoofer is out in the open and exposed, then sometimes you don't want that glare.
So the D110 features a Class D amp hitting 750 watts peak. It also features an excursion of 2.7 inches from peak to peak.
Which is quite high, actually.
Yeah, pretty impressive. It features a fully closed enclosure.
Usually a sealed enclosure, the kind of long story short is like the bass is usually a lot cleaner. The bass is also a lot tighter and a lot linear when doing that. Without getting into the difference of ported versus isobaric subs and any kind of subs, that's mainly it is. It's just overall, they're usually built, sealed, and with sound quality in mind.
Yeah, so I did notice when we did listen to it, it was really fast and accurate.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's one of the main things when we talk about it, the sound part, what we'll see is actually how that relates to sound quality.
The D110 features all sorts of different adjustments as well, from your master volume level, your LP frequency ranging from 25 to 130 hertz, your phase from 0 to 280 degrees, and also your polarity at 0 or 180 degrees switchable. It also features different inputs, the J-Link, and also some line level inputs as well.
I think the best thing that we'll do in the future is we'll kind of go over how to connect a subwoofer, how to properly position a subwoofer, and just kind of overall proper procedure in setting up a sub in a room.
So while we were listening, we actually did run a dB test, and we had some pretty amazing results. What were the results, Kurt?
Yeah, it's actually pretty surprising. The highest we actually ever hit was just actually over 100 decibels. Mind you, that was kind of in the corner, close to the subwoofer, where bass would naturally build up in a room. We also measured this in a room that's about approximately 200 square feet, not exactly closed. So to produce that kind of level was actually pretty surprising. Now, I would say long-term, over listening at full bandwidth, say about 13 feet away from listening position, you're really you're going to get about 80 decibels, I would say, of bass at a full frequency response. More than enough for most applications, whether it's theater and for music.
Yeah, it did seem to fill out the room really well.
Yeah.
And I still thought on our system, it was just a nice addition. So how did the D110 handle music in movies? The first track we listened to was by Brian Bromberg, Come Together. This track features a cello player hitting really deep notes, and I thought it handled that deep bass really well.
Yeah, I felt the same way. It goes quite deep, especially for the physical size of the enclosure. A lot of it probably has to do to the excursion to be able to move that amount of air. Another thing is why we want to listen to Brian Bromberg is when they're actually recording it on the cello, the microphone, you can tell, is mic'd really close. And it's like that with a lot of his recordings. And I think it may be some cases where they might even be attaching the mic right next to the strings. And the thing is that you should be able to hear a lot of texture in the bass. This subwoofer, surprisingly, was able to really pick up all the texture and all the nuances that you actually don't normally hear with subwoofers. So it really did an excellent job, and it's quite linear in the bass too as well. And over the whole range of the whole frequency response and the range of that cello, you can really hear there wasn't too much peaks in some of the notes. Overall, it's one of the better subs, especially for music that's out there in the market today.
So when it came to TV shows and movies, we watched the ship scene in Game of Thrones. In that scene, there's a lot of impact, there's a lot of bass happening, there's a lot of explosions, things like that. And I found with this sub, it just brought a lot of impact into the room, really brought it up in your face.
No, I agree. It definitely can move a lot of air, again, for the size of the subwoofer. One of the things is the quality, especially in that scene. In that scene, there's a lot of change in like the notes of the bass and the texturing of the bass. There's different kind of explosions from different areas and how they won't report how in the movie itself. So this is actually one of the few times where I can actually pick up all those changes. There is no sense of almost like just hearing the same bass, the same kind of note. You can hear all that kind of separation, which I've tested a lot of subwoofers before with that movie, and this is one of the very few that really picks up all that range like that.
So was the D110 able to match the dynamics of car audio in their home audio sub? The answer to that is yes, for sure. In a smallish room around 250 square feet and under, it's an amazing addition to a 2-channel or even a theater setup.
No, I agree with you, Marcos. It's definitely is a good addition, especially from me. Especially in 2-channel, I would rarely integrate a subwoofer into a 2-channel system just because it's really difficult. And a lot of times you can't blend it in with the speakers properly. Surprisingly, when done properly, it really is a good addition because you get to extend the bass notes on there too as well. And it's actually surprising when you really dial it in, you can actually walk up so close to the subwoofer. And because you can blend it in and because the subwoofer is so fast, you actually still almost don't hear it. You know it's there, but you actually don't hear it. So it makes such a seamless transition. And that's the reason why it is a good addition and why before I rarely did it, because it was always kind of difficult. Now with movies, I would say, again, excellent job for movies. It's not going to be that boomy kind of bass that you get with a lot of subwoofers, because most subwoofers are tuned just to get as much loudness, not so much in quality. True, yeah. More for maximum output. One thing I would have to say though, this subwoofer, if you do have a designated theater room, if it's anywhere for sure, if it's over 250 square feet, I would really recommend that you either use 2 of them or you go up into the E series where you're getting into like a 12-inch sub.
Thanks for watching our video today on the JL Audio D110. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. See you in the next one.